You don't love yourself, not really. You tolerate yourself. You manage yourself, you distract yourself. But love is different. Love is patient, love is protective. Love doesn't speak to you the way you speak to yourself in the dark. You wake up already negotiating your worth, already apologizing for existing, already rehearsing how you'll be smaller today. And you don't even notice it anymore because you've been living on like this so long. It feels normal. You look in the mirror and scan for flaws like it's your job, like you're a security guard protecting the world from the threat of you. You call it self awareness, it's not, it's surveillance. You watch yourself constantly, how you walk, how you laugh, how loud you are, how quiet you are, how much space you take up, how much you don't. And every tiny mistake becomes evidence in a case against you. You don't love yourself because if you did, you wouldn't talk to yourself like you're the villain in your own life. You wouldn't replay conversations from 3 years ago and wince like you committed a crime. You wouldn't assume that when someone pulls away, it must be because you're too much or not enough. It's always one of those two, isn't it? Too much, too quiet, too emotional, too distant, too needy, too independent. You blend yourself into shapes so people won't leave. And when they leave anyways, you blame the original shape you were in. You don't love yourself because loving yourself means not begging for crumbs when you deserve a meal. It means not chasing people who walk away casually. It means not shrinking so someone else can feel tall. You say you love deeply and you do. That's the tragedy. That's the tragedy. You pour oceans into people who hand you teaspoons. You memorize their favorite songs, their favorite coffee order, the way their voice shifts when they're lying. But when was the last time you memorized yourself? When was the last time you asked what you needed without guilt? You think loving means enduring, staying, proving. You think if you love hard enough, long enough, loyal enough, they'll choose back. But love isn't a competition, is it? It's not a performance review, and sometimes loving people means stopping. Because you cannot save someone by setting yourself on fire. You cannot prove your worth by tolerating disrespect. You cannot earn love by exhausting yourself. Loving is normal, wanting someone is normal. Caring too much is human, but there is a point where love turns into self-abandonment and you cross it quietly. You stop saying when you're hurt. You start explaining away red flags. You tell yourself you're just sensitive. You adjust, you adapt, you disappear, and you call it compromise, but compromise is mutual. This is erosion. You are slowly disappearing for the comfort of someone who barely notices. And the saddest part, you think this is romantic. You think staying through pain makes you noble. You think sacrificing yourself makes you strong. It doesn't really. It makes you tired, and you are so tired. Tired of trying, tired of overthinking, tired of checking your phone, tired of playing words, tired of wondering if you imagined it. You didn't imagine it, you felt it. And your feelings are not the enemy. You will leave when something feels wrong instead of waiting for proof. You would believe actions instead of clinging to potential. You fall in love with potential. The person they could be, the version of them you see in glimpses. You build a whole future on fragments, and then you're shocked when the reality doesn't match the story you wrote. You are not stupid, you are hopeful. But hope without boundaries is self-destruction. Self-destruction. You don't love yourself because you keep auditioning for roles in people's lives that you should have been offered freely. You rehearse being chill, you rehearse not caring, you rehearse pretending you're not okay. Or you're okay. You are exhausted from acting, and then you wonder why you feel empty. It's because you're never fully present, you're always performing for them, for friends, for family, for strangers. But when you're alone and the lights turn off, then there's no one to impress, you collapse. You don't know who you are without approval. That's not love, that's dependency. You don't love yourself because if you did, you wouldn't need to earn rest. You wouldn't feel guilty for doing nothing. You wouldn't tie your worth for productivity. You would treat yourself like a machine, perform, produce, prove, fix. But when something breaks, you blame it. You blame you. You're the machine. Instead of asking what you needed, you needed reassurance. You needed safety. You needed someone to stay, and maybe they didn't. But that doesn't make you unlovable. It makes you human. You don't love yourself because you confuse rejection with proof. Proof that you're not enough. But rejection is information, not a verdict. Someone not choosing you does not mean you are unchoosable. It means they are not your person. And loving sometimes means stopping the chase, stopping the excuses, stopping the narrative that you can fix it if you just try harder. Love isn't mutual or it is draining. There is no middle ground. You don't have to hate them to let them go. You don't have to turn yourself cold to choose yourself. You can love someone and still walk away. That's the part no one teaches you. You think strength is holding on. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes strength is saying, I love you, but I love myself more than enough to stop. And that sentence feels like betrayal, doesn't it? When you've never loved yourself before. Because choosing yourself feels selfish, but it isn't. It's survival. You don't love yourself because you're afraid that if you stop giving, no one will stay. But the ones who only stay when you overextend were never staying for you. They were staying for what you provided. You deserve someone who chooses you without convincing, without chasing, without shrinking. And you deserve to be that person for yourself. You imagine loving yourself the way you love them. Imagine defending yourself in conversations the way you defend people you care about. Imagine forgiving yourself for mistakes instead of branding them into your identity. You are not your worst moment. You are not your insecurities. You are not the version of you that someone rejected. You are a whole person. Loving is normal. But sometimes you have to stop loving someone who makes you forget how to love yourself. That is not weakness, that is growth. You can grieve and still choose better. You can miss them and still move forwards. You can cry and still refuse to go back. You don't have to destroy the memory to release the attachment. You just have to decide that your peace matters more than your attachment. And that's hard. Because chaos feels familiar. Pain feels predictable. Self-love feels unfamiliar. It feels like arrogance. It feels like risk. It feels like standing alone. But alone is not the same as abandoned. Alone can be peaceful. Alone can be rebuilding. Alone can be healing. You don't love yourself yet, but you can learn. Love is not something you wait to feel. It's something you practice. You practice by speaking kindly to yourself, by setting boundaries, by leaving situations that drain you, by resting without guilt, by forgiving yourself for not knowing any better. You didn't know any better. Now you do. And knowing means responsibility. Responsibility stops chasing, to stop settling, to stop tearing yourself down. You are not behind in life. You are not broken. You are not hard to love. You just learned love from people who didn't know how to give it properly. And that's not your fault. But healing is your responsibility. So love them if you must, miss them if you must, or cry if you must. But stop abandoning yourself in the process. Stop choosing people who treat you like an option. Stop begging for clarity from those who thrive in confusion. Stop apologizing for wanting reassurance. Stop convincing yourself that bare minimum is effort. You deserve effort. You deserve warmth. You deserve consistency. And most of all, you deserve yourself. Not the edited version, not the quiet version, not the easy version. All of you, the emotional one, the sensitive one, the intense one, the hopeful one. You don't love yourself yet, but you will. The day you stop chasing someone who makes you question your worth. The day you rest without proving you earned it. The day you look in the mirror and don't search for flaws first. The day you understand that loving someone should not cost you yourself. And until then, be gentle. You are learning. You are unlearning. You are growing. And that is not weakness, that is courage, even if you don't see it.